Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. We're on Roadcraft and we're on the PlayStation 5. This is the next video in the series, and it continues. Literally, we're taking off straight from the end of the last video, episode 8. As you can see, we're exactly where we left it off. So what have we achieved so far? Absolutely no. So that's the edge where my sand is and all that lot, where I've got to pick that up. Need to make sure I remember him, I don't lose him because he's very cool. So anyway, we had to do a road, 2 parts of a road. So done the first one, which is this section here, and now we have to tarmac. Which way we're going? This way. We've got to do this bit, which I don't know, might do. I'm not sure because it's not that bad actually, but then saying that, neither is this bit, or it didn't look it. But that's the bit that they want me to tarmac and resurface. So get that bit done, and then if my itchy trigger finger really does start to scratch, then I will do that bit as well. So anyway, this is going to be my next one to do. That's probably going to take the entirety of this video, because I still try and aim for the hour as close as I can. Off screen, I have decided I am going to fill this with sand and then tarmac it over so that it's accessible again, but at the same time I need to take all of this junk out, because that will be very useful. We said, wow, that was clever. Can I do that again? Did you see it move? It'll be very useful for recycling, and the same with little bits and pieces like there as well, and that'll be another bit that I'll need to fill in, but I'm going to do that off camera, off recording, because I think it's far too much running around to warrant videoing it. I don't want to put you through too much pain and misery. But yeah, there you go. Done. That's a sand quarry there. Do you know what? I didn't even notice that. I go to vehicles, go to why hasn't that? Oh, it probably is registering, but it's underneath that white thing. So, because that's what I was looking for, the sand quarry area. So that should technically be around there. But what I'm saying is, if that's the case, we're literally right next to the quarry. It's going to be just park the truck up, load it, dump it, load it, dump it, load it, dump it, without moving. So that will work. That's cool. No, that's good. That's what I thought. Wow. Look at all the goodies. See, it's all well and good. So at the moment, I pick it up with a crane. Yeah. And away we go, and recycle it either into steel beams or steel pipes. What would be cool, and again, I don't know because I'm not that far into the game and I haven't looked, but what would be good is if we had a crane with a magnet. You know, because the greater majority of stuff, especially the blue stuff, it's all the recyclable stuff, and it's all metal in one description or another. So technically it should just go clang and be able to be picked up with a magnet and be so much easier. So you literally just go doink over the trailer or wherever it is you're putting it, turn the magnet off, and off you, rather than the whole trying to faff about with the winch, because you could literally just go along, just drop the magnet over and it will pick up the nearest items, and away you go. I wonder if that is a thing, a future thing. I don't think it is. So there you go. So that's now aimed, and I need to remember I'm saying this so that I might put it in the description as well. But basically, anybody that's watching this and you are a mod creator, there's one for you. See if you are able, see if you have the ability in this game to create a magnet. So that you can pick metal things up with the magnet rather than having to do it with the winch, because I think that would be so much easier, so much easier. Very, very cool idea. And if not, also if you are anything to do with the game itself, like a dev or a creator or whatever, for Roadcraft, do a magnet, make us a magnet, do a release of a vehicle with a magnet, because that will work. There you go. And you can have that one for free. I'm more than happy, because I have absolutely no ability to do it myself at all. That's interesting. So you're not going to go anywhere either, are you? Wow. Wonder if that will be a fix. That'd be quite something. Cool. Anyway, sorry. Right. Okay. On with the game. No, we don't need you yet. We are doing that. So yes, there you go. Without even thinking about it. We need a magnet crane in this game. See, this is smooth. It's literally just a bit of water, so definitely don't need to worry about doing a patchwork like that. Whereas this allegedly is very soft and squidgy, but I don't think it is. It's not that bad. Famous last words, but you know. I want to see if the oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if the no, it's not. Why? Activate quarry. I'm sorry. When has that been a thing? Allows you to refill. Allows you to refill. But that one, you need fuel. Whoa. That's a new one. Okay. Cool. Okay. Does that mean that it will run out of fuel? Cool. See, this game is still, like I said, even though I've got a little bit into it, and I feel like I have been playing it for quite a while. It still has the ability to throw a new, like, wow, that's cool moment at me, and I love it, and I love any game that can do that. I love... I'm going the right way. No. Yeah, I love any game that is able to do that. Any game that will, even after so many hours of playing or whatever, will suddenly throw something at you, and it's like, dude, That's so cool. That's really useful, or I love that. That's new. That's interesting. That's fun. Or whatever. Yeah. And weirdly, that activating of the quarry for me is one of those moments. It's one of those that's new, that's interesting moments. What the hell did I just hit then? What? Excuse me? What? What the hell? What's wrong? Okay, what the hell was that all about? I'm sorry, but why did that act like I was just stuck on something? That's weird. I have no idea why it was like that. How very. That was bizarre. What the hell? Right, screw this. We're gonna have to get the thingy over here and fix this. I didn't think I was gonna have to, but clearly I am. Which is most annoying. Right, okay, I just want to check something, because there's a vehicle. It's a truck, but it has a plough on the front. And I was like, why? But now I'm thinking, how useful would it be if it's a tipper truck? He says, trying to find the bloody thing. Oh, what's all that? Oh, hello. Look at you. Nice. What? No way. Oh, turning circle on this thing is awful, but the off-roading capabilities on that thing is amazing. Sorry, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There it is. Cargo truck with a plough. That is literally just a cargo, isn't it? That it does not look like it has the ability to tip. So what's the point? Interaction. Yeah, see. What's the point? I don't actually understand that. If that was a tipper truck, if that was a dumper, that'd be nigh on perfect, and maybe a little bit wider scoop on the front. No, don't understand it. But anyway, so no. But you can see where I was going with that, right? So I wouldn't need to get the grader because I would have the shovel on the front of the dumper truck, or even this. Yeah, does that make sense? I'm sorry. I've said it before, and I proved it by it. You know, the whole health and safety thing. It's not good, and I genuinely believe that if you do that, and then do that. Oh, wow. Okay. Not entirely sure as to why. There you go. Kind of see where you're going. Why wouldn't that be why wouldn't that be the default driving setup? Because now I've done that, I'm stuck in low gear. Whereas if I do that, it opens up normal driving, but it is inherently unstable because you've got the fucking shovel at the raised right up, and it makes the whole thing unstable. I rest my case. Look at it. It makes no sense. Again, that needs to be seriously revisited. That needs to be changed. Yeah, I had absolutely no intention of having to do this. Although it was fine, it was going to be okay, but then it randomly deciding to get stuck on nothing. Kind of forced my hand. That's fine. But yeah, this whole raising it high up like this, it's not right. I mean, it's fine if you're working with this machine and you're like on site, as it were, and you're just going from one part to another, then yeah, that's fine. But if the idea is you drive it around from one place to another, it's not good. because it's just so unstable, it's ridiculous. And the steering, we're still going on about the steering. It's a pain in the ass. Dude, I thought there was more room that side. Nope. Oh, for frick's sake. We're going to get through there. We're going to get through there without killing ourselves. Oh, just move the bloody truck. For God's sake. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Actually, what are the chances? Well, actually, no. I was going to park it on the bridge, but I'm just going to park it next to the bridge. Or do I park it down that end? No. No, we're going to decamp here. Don't know why you say I'm reversing, because I'm not. Alrighty. Should be leaved. Should be leaved. Should be leaved me enough room. Again, it's probably a generational thing. And being 50, you know, I'm at the whatever generation I am. Again, I've said this in another video, I don't understand the Gen X, Gen Z, Gen B, V, D, LBGT. I don't understand any of that shit. I just know that I'm now, unfortunately, part of the old generation. Yeah, born in the 70s, raised in the 80s, lived in the 90s. Oh my God, did I live in the 90s? Whereas I look at people today, sorry, I had to choose my words there because I was just going to say youngsters, because that covers almost every other person, you know what I mean? That's how old I feel. But yeah, so, and I just class them all as millennials. So in my head, in my head, my classification of age, like I said, is you've got the grandparents, excuse me, you got the old people, like grandparents type things, you know, the ones that really have lived and seen it all, and quite often have earned the right to be a dithering old pain in the ass. Not always, but yeah, quite often. Then there's my generation. Um, we're in our early 70s down to late 40s, that kind of broad range age, predominantly 50s onwards. And then you've got that, and I say weird gap because I don't know really what label they are, and I generally don't know what label, because I don't like labels at the best time, but you've got those that are between 40 and late 20s. Yeah, so mid 40s to late 20s. I mean, what generations are they? What are, yeah. But basically, anybody that's, in my eyes, anybody that is 30 years old or younger, especially younger, you're millennial. Simple as. Alright? 30-year-olds, you're on the cusp. You can get away with it as long as you have a grown-up attitude and mentality, and you're not one of these annoying idiots that just don't seem to have any common sense or any, I don't know, anything going on upstairs. TikTok users mainly, and I'm not afraid to say that because I do not use TikTok. I cannot abide TikTok. As far as I'm concerned, TikTok just breeds and encourages and enables stupidity. Simple as. Anyway, yeah, so generational. I was on about languages. My generation, every generation has their own language, their own tongue. It's a thing. I mean, we had it in the 80s, we had it in the 90s, and we kind of stuck with all of that kind of thing. But there was always that underlying knowledge and understanding and belief in the true English language. Yeah, the shit that's written in your dictionary and your books and everything else. Yeah, good, solid, legible, understandable English. When did that go out the window? Which generation did they truly turn around and be like, yeah, screw that, we're not going to use normal, standard, universally understood English. We are going to bastardize it and butcher it beyond recognition, because I'm telling you now, the youth of today, God, I sound so old, but the youngsters today, with their style of language, is one thing. Yeah, like I said, every generation has their choice of tongue, as it were. Yeah, we all have their slang, their colloquialisms, and all this kind of thing. We all have them, and that's fine, and that's understandable. Yeah, and accepted. What isn't understandable and accepted is this level of language, this style of language that is around today, where not only is it's not even bad English, it's not even English. Do you know what I mean? It's beyond trying to label it as a recognisable kind of language, if as such. It's awful. It's just awful, you know. And it's the shortening of everything, and everything's now abbreviated. Yes, when you're using digital platforms and you're typing and you're texting, especially, right? Yeah, and you're sending your little messages. That's fine. By all means, shorten things down. Yeah, use abbreviations. Use the I can't remember what they call them, but not anagrams, but you know what I mean. By all means, do that, because quite often it's quicker, and B, even today, there are platforms that limit the amount of graphics that you're allowed to use, the amount of icons and text that you can use. So of course you have to shorten things down, but don't carry that into real language. Don't carry that into the way you speak in real life. You know, if you are going to find something extremely funny and it makes you laugh out loud, then you laugh out loud. You don't lol, okay? If you lol, to lol is where something is loose, something is rocky and uneven, like a bobblehead. Yeah, a bobblehead, the head lolls. It lolls around. Alright, that's English. Okay? It winds me up when people are like, oh, I'm lolling. No, you're not. You're not lolling at all. There's nothing wrong with you. Behave. But it's not just that. It's this really bad level of English. It's like, what are they teaching them in schools today, where they go out into the real world and they cannot speak clear, eloquent, it's not even eloquent, it doesn't need to be eloquent, but just clear, normal English. And this isn't just Britain, this is across the world. You know, it's awful. It really is awful. So, yeah, and you see it, go on YouTube and you see some of the shorts and stuff like that, and the way they, when they're typing their descriptions and stuff like that, even then, it's like, you do know that that's not clear English. You do know that that's just wrong, what you've written. It doesn't make any sense. The other day I made that mistake. I actually typed something in a comment, and somebody came back to me saying about they made that exact comment, that was it partial illiteracy, I think they called it. So I was called out on part because I'd used the wrong term. I think it was about singing a song, and I said they sang a song or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. And straight away, as soon as I read that reply to my comment, I was like, what were they on about? And then I saw what they did, because they didn't actually explain. They didn't say what my mistake was, but I picked up on I realised what my mistake was straight away. I was instantly mortified, and I then straight away replied back to this person that made the comment and thanked them for highlighting my mistake, and I then corrected my mistake. Do you know what I mean? So I know I'm not alone in feeling like this, in feeling that the English language as a whole is being destroyed. It's not even being... it's almost being replaced, for want of a better word, but it's being utterly destroyed. And the worst of it is at least like in our generation, like my generation, and even like, you know, like the 40s and maybe the 30s, there was still that level of knowledge in the back of your mind about real English and the understanding of real English. And when it came to passing on that knowledge, that's what you passed on. You didn't pass on this awful language that is used today. Do you know what I mean? Whereas nowadays, the next generation that's going to come up, all they're going to know is this awful choice of language, this bad English, this you know, you're going out into the real world and you're the way you talk, the way you write, the way you spell, the way you create sentences and stuff like that. It makes you look and sound like you were never at school, you weren't taught, and if you were, what the hell were you doing? Because you were paying zero attention to your English teacher. And what makes it worse is the fact that clearly employers are accepting it, because if they weren't, then more and more people would be called out. I'm sorry, you're not eligible for this job because you can't even fill in an application form properly, or you know, your choice of language is just laughable. You know, what even is it that you're trying to say, you know, that kind of thing. Back in my day, you went for a job interview, or you know, you filled out an application. If you weren't clear, if you weren't, you know, if it wasn't done in clear English, and so you wouldn't even get a look in. Would not get a look in. But nowadays, it seems to be allowed. It seems to be accepted, and it's wrong. It really is. I would love for a comeback of the old BBC World Service style of language, of English, of the spoken word. Back in the, what would it have been, like the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, you know, this is the BBC World Service. And you see all the old Pathé News and all this lot, and it's like, this is how we are today, this is what is going on. Bring that back. Honestly, bring it back. Because it's cute, it's funny, and at least people can understand it. No matter what country you're in, if you are learning English, you're going to understand well-spoken, clear language, rather than this garbage that is spoken today. I, in one of my many roles as a human being over the years, I worked for the police. I was only a PCSO. It was one of those community support officers. But myself and a colleague, we used to team up all the time, and we'd go out, and I was always tagged to work with young people, because that's all I've pretty much done my entire life in one aspect or another. And there's this accent that is like a hybrid Jamaican, London, God knows where else it's come from accent that the youngsters have, and it's hilarious and it's awful, and it's just weird, and regardless of what colour skin, what race you are in, you know, religion or any of it, more and more of them speak like this. So my colleague, whenever we were dealing with young people, and they'd come up and they'd give it all the large, and they'd be talking like it's like whatever, he would be like, "I'm sorry, I generally don't understand what you're saying. I need a can you speak English, please?" And all this lot, because he knew that it would wind them up even more. But at the same time, it's so true, so true. So yeah, I think there are some things like when people go, "Oh yeah, I'm starting a movement. I think we need to bring back this or bring back that." Bring back well-spoken English. What is wrong with that? Why can we not have? I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I speak 2 languages, English and bad English. All right. I've always said that, mainly because it makes me chuckle. But at the same time, I do try and make a conscious effort to speak at least some level of intelligent or intelligible, legible, and whatever, good English that can be understood by most, if not anybody. Does that make sense? Yeah. When I go off on one, there's only two reasons I go off and speak in a less clear method, less clear choice of English. One, I'm taking the piss. Yeah, I'm putting an accent on, or I'm doing it deliberately, either to put a point across or just because it may or may not fit what I'm saying or what I'm doing at that time. Okay. And the other time is if I'm not actually paying attention, and I slip back into my Devon accent, which some people think I have, but a lot of I believe I've lost most of it. But I'm also one of those kind of people that if I get into a conversation with somebody that has an accent, give me 10, 15 minutes tops of talking to them, and I will be talking to them in their accent. Not in, I can't, God, I wish I could speak a foreign language. I just cannot retain, I barely retain English. But accents I can do. And a lot of the time I do it unconsciously. I don't even realise I'm doing it. And I've always been able to do it from a child. And my eldest sister was also, or still is, I should imagine, capable of doing it. So it's cool and it's weird. But yeah, so you've got a different accent to me. Guarantee within 15 minutes of talking to you, I will, even if it's like a slight twang, or I'll pick up on the colloquialisms, but I will be talking like, and it's not a piss take. I don't, it's not something I deliberately set out to do. It's an unconscious thing, but I can do it. But my default setting, so to speak, is the Devon accent. See, so that's what I used to talk. Well, that's how I used to think I was talking like. But then again, in my head, I never did. And if I actually spoke to somebody from down there in Devon, they'd probably say that I don't sound like that at all. I sound posh. I was often told I sound posh compared to a lot of people down in Devon. And then when I move out of Devon, I come to somewhere else, they're all like, "My God, you're a local, aren't you?" So yeah, it's funny. But that's, like I said, that's my little rant about how the English language is today. And that's only because I made that weird faux pas of when I said it, I spoke in bad English, so that's where that all came from. Sorry. Sorry, why can't you just go in a straight line? Dude, must we have this argument? Must we have this conversation every single time? It's got to be the most sketchiest caterpillar tracked vehicle known to man. Any other vehicle, it's like you try and turn it. Yeah, most people when they're driving a tracked vehicle, of any substantial size, the chances are it's like, it's going to be slow, it's going to be ponderous because there's a lot of vehicle to move on a set of tracks. Then obviously you get into something like the Bobcat, and the bloody things spin round on a dime. You know what I mean? They're insanely mobile. They're just so cool. And I say Bobcat as a generic term, a bit like talking about a Hoover. We're talking about a vacuum cleaner, but because Hoover was the most popular, well known, everybody looks at a vacuum cleaner and probably calls it a Hoover. Yeah, so it's the same thing with a Bobcat. To me, a Bobcat nowadays covers a small one-seater, I think the Americans call them skid steer, because that's exactly what they are. And nowadays they're more common with wheels, aren't they, rather than tracks. But you know what I'm saying, you get the idea. Those things are mental, they're so cool. But this, it's painful. So painful. I actually saw a video once on YouTube. So turn. Thank you. The algorithm on YouTube hates me because I do not have many specific likes and specific channels that I will watch over and over again. There are some, like the gaming ones and the news channels, those kind of things, but I'm quite happy to watch a very, very wide range of different things. So the algorithm cannot cope, because it's like, well, what are you looking at today? What are you interested in today? Do you know what? So we're just going to throw some random shit at you and see what sticks. And one of those random shit that did stick was the history of the Bobcat. It's not turning. Please just turn. Right, so I'm turning left and he's going that way. I'm turning right. Oh, now you're turning right. For Christ's sake. Anyway, the history of the Bobcat. Fascinating. If I remember, I probably won't. And the chances of me being able to go back in my history and find that video pretty non-existent. So all I can suggest, if you are interested, and trust me, you should be, honestly, I don't mean that in I'm sorry, I'm just losing the will to live here with this at the moment. Yeah, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. And genuinely, it is something that's absolutely fascinating. So if you are unsure, or if you do not know, or even you think you don't anything about the history of Bobcat, watch it. And it's literally, I don't even know when it was. I'm trying to think if it was before or after the war, so I don't know if it was in the 30s or in the 40s. I can't quite remember. But this guy in America lived in a farming community area, and it was predominantly, I think it was turkey sheds. They had these massive turkey sheds, and because they were just designed to house turkeys, they didn't need to be very big. They weren't tall, and stuff like that, so they were quite claustrophobic, and they were quite and the idea was people would go in as far as they can with their little tractors and their diggers or whatever. Are you still moving? To muck out and to clean out before the next fresh stock of turkeys would come in. And this guy's an engineer. Whether he was an engineer by trade or he was just an engineer because he liked to create things and mess around with things, I cannot remember. Like I said, so forgive me. But a friend of his, a local turkey farmer, turned around and said, could you make, I can't remember if the farmer approached him or he approached the farmer saying, why don't you do this? But the short and tall of it is, he decided to design this tiny little tracked vehicle that was a one-seater. It was it was small, it was agile, it was low so that it could go into the sheds without any issue. And and these sheds, because of the way they were built, there were support beams and bars everywhere, poles and uprights everywhere. So it was, it was really, really difficult to move, and it was very, very tight areas. So he designed this tiny little tracked vehicle, and I think there's a museum somewhere that actually has the original prototype. Stunning, absolutely stunning, fascinating big hit. He designed this thing in his own little shed or on his farm or wherever it was, and with the sole purpose and the sole idea of it being used in these turkey farms in this shed, and predominantly it was just for his friend. It was for this one person. It was like, yeah, I'll do this, and then it just exploded. And obviously he was constantly tinkering with it and changing it and making it better and better and better and better until it's what it is today. So yeah, absolutely fascinating, really, really cool. And like I said, this video, there were photographs. I think there may have even been like old video film recordings of the original prototype or the very early designs of the Bobcat. Mental, so cool, so clever. And it's these things that come around that nobody, unless it's one of those things. It's like, if you know, you know. And a lot of the time, people don't even give it a thought. It's just. Sorry, I'm stuck on it. There we go. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a Bobcat. So, and it's for farming, and it does this, and that's it. But nobody really knows the history of it. It's that kind of thing. Yeah. There you go. Completely random, but not, because it kind of ties in with what I was talking about. And like I said, if I could find the video, I would put the link in, but I know without even having to try and look, it was that long ago that I saw this video that I wouldn't even know where to start looking unless I actually did a search. So I can only suggest that you do a search if you are interested, and honestly it's worth it. It's not a very long video, I think it's like half an hour long. Fascinating bit of history. Who doesn't like history? I can see. And again, you get this weird. So where the road, right? The game. It's like, yes. So we want, we know the road is going to be in this section, right? And that's it. If you go either side of it, it leaves this bizarre marker either side where nothing touches. It's so strange, considering you can literally make a road anywhere in this game. When it comes to doing it in a specific area that is for an objective, it just has this weird, is it a limitation? But it's a weird side thing that goes on. It's like, no, you're only supposed to put the road here. I only told you to blow the bloody doors off. It's very strange. It doesn't make sense. Oh, please just go up the ramp. Seriously, just go on. There you go. Don't do. Why? Why would you? Oh my goodness! What are you doing? Sorry, I'm trying to straighten the arse out, and all it's going to do now is fall off the side of the trailer. That scared the crap out of me. That was so loud. It's doing it again. Why? Why in God's name would it feel the need to do that? Oh, that looks awful. We may have to revisit that. You're not going to, are you? No. That was funny with that trophy though. I was so focused on getting that bloody roller to stay on the trailer that I was paying zero. I was like zoned in. And when that came up loud, that was very loud. That was a very loud doing. That was funny. That was really funny. And look at that, dead on. I said it was going to take an hour. Well, I'm buggered. Well, there you go. Okay, well, that'll do. Yeah, so my next, I'm going to go off camera, and I'm not going to do any more recordings today. So I'm going to be clearing all this mess up and storing that. Probably use the dumper actually, because it's a very useful large vehicle. Actually, where it is, construction depot, so I can sell it there. Steel pipes is just, I say just there. That needs to go, although that has got the ability to be towed, so that's fine. But again, what's the point? Because you can't go anywhere. That's bizarre. That's almost like a red herring, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you really want to go that way, and it's like, but you can't, because it doesn't give you any need, and unless I clear the trees out there, that's not going to help, because you don't get the option to clear that lot out of the way. You know what I mean? Because that would be quite useful. Cut through there, down, and then kind of down there, although that's not brilliant either. That's really annoying. Because that is it. Literally, that is the only direct route. There's no way you'd be allowed to build in the water. There's no way they're going to allow that. That wouldn't, no. And even so, you'd have to come out to about here. No, that's not going to work. But yeah, that's the only direct route to the steel plant. Otherwise, you have to go all the way round and down and through. And I don't believe that you can clear this lot. Don't know. I might give it a go. Again, be off video. I won't record any of that faffing about. But yeah, there's no way, is there? You have to go round. I need to get the gas station up and running so that I can then get the quarry up and running. Concrete slabs are there, so that needs to be set up. Oh, we've got another base there as well, that's useful. Workshop? I mean, what was the workshop for? That's interesting. So we've got steel. Ah, there it is. Right, the beams. Loads of stuff there. Pipes there. It's that fine line of how much do you put in each one of them. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, that'll be for me to work out off camera. That will do. Actually, it was, like I said, an hour, so couldn't really have done that better if I tried. Well, probably could have quite easily, but you know what I mean. Right. Oh, I'm stretching. Big yawn. Alright, comments please. How many people just yawned and stretched? Haha. Right, that's me done. Lots to do, lots to think about, lots of yeah, not even lots of possibilities, but it's like, do I go this way, do I go that way, do I do this, do I do that? So cool. I like it. That's what I like about this game. It's very, very cool. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for giving me your time, whether that's a second, a minute, or the full hour. You are very much appreciated, believe me. I know everybody says that, but most people are probably genuine when they say it, and I am one of those genuine people. Please leave comments. Do not be afraid to leave comments, whether you agree or disagree with what I have said. That is the beauty of the world today at the moment. And I say that because the way the state of things are at the moment, that's for another video. But at the moment we are open, and we have the ability for debate, and clear and adult debate. So if I have said anything that you disagree with, then please comment and say that you disagree with what I have said and why. Give me a reason why. And again, if you agree with stuff that I have said, say why. You know, don't just go, yeah, totally agree, mate. Say why. What is it that you agree about? You know, what, you know, that it's an adult debate. That's the whole point. And that goes back to the English language and the choice of and the use of. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for doing everything you are doing. Please continue to do so. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It literally is just a click of the button, and that is it. You are done. That thudunk and the was my dog, so that is also my cue to leave. So without further ado, exit stage left. Love you all.